Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another edition of the Dating Diaries. I am Christal XO. I am one half of this conversation. The other half of the conversation is with Scorpio Moe.
Yo. What up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. What up?
Hey, man. Yeah, we're here. We're here. There's a lot to talk about tonight, because we had planned to talk about dating etiquette, and we're still going to do that, but we're gonna focus on one of the couples that we got a little bit of a shock from a clip from the reunion. Bit of a shock, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. I did something, and I don't even think I told you about it. I did something. I have been thinking about this for a while, but none of us like to think about a time when we would not be here, right? A few years ago, probably about 10 years ago, I went and got a life insurance policy, a different life insurance policy, because I started seeing a lot of people that would have something happen to them, and they wouldn't have a plan for their loved ones to, take care of them, right? And so I didn't want to end up, I think there were people starting to do those, like the GoFundMe accounts. And I was just, you haven't heard of that?
Not for that. Not preparing for possible,
Yeah. No. Yeah, I have. There's a lot of people, and actually, like, people that are influential, people that you would never assume when they passed, there wasn't enough. There weren't money to bury them.
Now that very much so. We obviously we talked about the Eddie Murphy documentary.
Yeah.
All the celebrities and people he buried.
Yeah.
You don't want the family to have a fish fry.
You don't. And even less than a fish fry, you expect them to have to go beg the public to donate the money to bury you. So I thought I was being responsible, and I went and got, a life insurance policy, because my thing is I wanted to be able to leave my kids. I wanted to be able to leave them something, in addition to, I want them to be able to obviously take care of me, but also I wanted to leave them with something, because I know, in a lot of other cultures, that's a very, normal thing. And I also know some of us, there are people that, a parent passed away and they left them, money.
I know.
Yeah. So when my grandmother passed, there was not much, because we had used a lot of it, because she had Alzheimer's and she was sick. But I remember there were a lot of questions that the house was still in her name. There's some land that she owned that she had intended to pass down to my mom and her siblings, but that wasn't taken care of. It was a lot of loose ends. And when you are, I ended up writing my grandmother's eulogy. And so when you're doing stuff like that and you're in the midst of it, figuring out what goes where, it's difficult, because you're in the midst of the pain of the loss of the person, right? And so I was like, man, that's, I kind of wish that they had been able to do those things earlier. But my grandmother had early onset Alzheimer's, so we didn't really know. So got the life insurance policy a while ago, and then I was like, with anything, people were like, well, like my agent asked me, did I have a will and did I have a trust? Because a lot of times, outside of the policy, you may have other things that you want to make sure that you do. And it's crazy, because you hear people talk all the time about generational wealth. That's a great buzzword that we like to talk about. But before you can, get into generational wealth, you really kind of have to figure out, first of all, what are these hard questions? But it doesn't feel good to talk about, so I kept putting it off, but I decided this year, we know a lot of people that are not here that we did not expect that to happen to. And so I decided to actually make the effort to do it. And so I went to willandtrust.com. They have and they had like, it was really a much easier process than I assumed. What was keeping me kind of away from it is, number one, I didn't want to think about it. And then number two, I thought it was going to be super complicated and like over the top. And then I also thought, I don't have millions of dollars. You know what I mean? I understand certain people, I'd be like, you need a will, but I don't have, millions of dollars. I'm trying to I'm doing what I can, but I have not amassed a number that I felt like would require me to do that. And I think a lot of people feel like that. If they don't have a lot of money, they don't feel like they need to do that. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. But whatever they have, I know the first order of business is to make sure y'all take care of me and y'all have enough money to put me in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second order of business is, what am I leaving the people, and what's left over is the family, how it's divided. I've seen my grandmother. I remember he was the only white guy that came through the hood. That's when they come to your house and she give them, whatever it was. And they were like very, very poignant. They were very, very like, this is my thing. And that's where I saw it initially from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that you hear these stories about these people that had millions, whether, like we talked about Eddie Murphy, Barry, Rick James, you would have thought,
Never. Yeah.
And it didn't happen. So you're 1,000% right.
But I think you think of someone like Rick James that probably had a lot of money come through his hands and that's different. But I think, I didn't think, because I'm not on that level, I just didn't think it was that big of a deal. But I didn't realize there's a lot that you can work through that. And then also for myself, I got married later in life. And I remember my godfather telling me, like, you want to make sure that you put down what you want to happen, because if you don't, then someone else will make those decisions. So I got with Trust and Will, and I just wanted to share a little bit of that before we get into tonight, about just the process and that I went through. And I think I would encourage people, regardless of what you think you have, because there were a lot of things that I hadn't even thought about that really had nothing to do with money. It's really just about what you want. And how you want it to happen, because a lot of times if you don't have that in place, like with my grandmother, we didn't know, so we did the best that we could. But I think it's always best to do something uncomfortable when the circumstances are not dire and painful. So for me, having this conversation with my kids and with my husband now, when I'm healthy and I'm fine, it still was a little bit sobering, but I'm really proud of the fact that I did it, and hopefully I can encourage other people to think about it at least.
Good for you.
So it's January 2026, and we're still beginning of the year. And this year I decided that I was going to do something that I had kind of been putting off and procrastinating about for a while. I decided I was going to have a very uncomfortable conversation with myself for my future. I remember when my grandmother passed, how difficult it was for my mother and her siblings to try to figure out some of the questions that my grandmother had left unanswered. And I decided I definitely didn't want to put my children in that same predicament. And so I went to Trust and Will, and I had, kind of an uncomfortable conversation with myself about what I wanted and how I saw things and what legacy I wanted to leave. And after I did that, I had a conversation with my children and with my husband, because we have a blended family and we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. So it made me feel really proud of myself for doing something now that I know will benefit and help them later. And the fact that I got a chance to do it when I'm in a great space. And if I need to make changes, I can always do that. Everything is in one place. It's all together, and they know everything about what they need to do to find the information. It's all with Trust and Will. I would definitely suggest, before the year is out, just think about it. Go over to Trust and Will, and the process is so easy and it's so seamless. I promise, afterwards, you'll be really proud of yourself for doing the right thing for your family as well.
It's my little spill. But seriously, I feel like I did some adulting today.
Okay.
Very responsible. I do, because that's not something that people do. My mom does not have that conversation with me. So this has opened the door to have it.
No, the part you said I feel I go to work every day. I feel responsible.
I go to work too, but you know what? It's a lot of people that go to work that are not responsible. When that time comes for them, you see how irresponsible they have been.
No,
don't nobody know what to do. There's no money left there, because actually, if you're in debt, a lot of times that debt can be passed down to your children. So yes, we do. I mean, I feel like, maybe not adulting, but I feel like, just being responsible, because sometimes it's not an easy conversation to have. My son was not happy with it. He was like, "Mom, but I was like, I'd rather have it now than,
right.
If we need to have it." But anyway, and it's the beginning of the year. That's always a good time to get your things in order. And for me, because I got married for the second time later in life, I have children, and my husband has 5 children. I have 2. So there are a lot of, you just want to make sure that everybody is taken care of and everything before, because some families people end up fighting. I know a friend of mine, there was actually a physical fight because the what someone thought they were due, they didn't get. Like, it can get ugly. And thank you, Jamal. I said probate ain't no joke after that. It's not. I have a friend whose mother was married, and the daughter did not know she was married. When the husband, they were separated, they just had never gotten their paperwork, right? So the mother left her home to the 2 daughters, but because there was nothing in writing that said that they just assumed, well, these are her only daughters. Come to find out, there was a husband. They had been separated for years. He was actually an addict, wasn't even around. But when news rang out of there being of her mother's untimely passing, he showed up and got everything, because unless there's writing, a spouse automatically has the first right of refusal. Now, this was a spouse in deed, but not in, they hadn't been together for over 20 years, and her mother just never got.
Look at Jerry Springer. You might not ever know. Look at Jerry Springer.
You never know. That's true.
Jerry Springer came up and was like, "Nah, this money's going to my black kids."
I wasn't a good father to them while I was here, but I hope to be a good father to them in death. Crazy. But and so that brings us to Ready to Love. I told you before, like, I don't even know where to start, because the clip that we have, it definitely, I think the strongest couple for the entire season was Dominique and Bello, at least to us, right?
Right.
And I said to you before we, got ready to chat with the people, I feel like I feel like I was bamboozled.
Yeah, but I don't see it, because we kind of talked about it a little bit.
We did, and I'm so I'm gonna play this clip in a minute. I just want to get a few more people in the room because we're gonna have to play this, and I'm sure I want everybody to see it so we can all discuss it, because in dating, I think there's expectations, right? And I think you can sometimes play a part for a certain amount of time.
Perception wins again.
Perception wins again. And the women fell for it.
Oh yeah, y'all all, he just sounds so, yeah, okay. He ain't the only one, but yeah.
He's not. Bello's not the only one. He's not the only one. We are hope if we can get. I think we should just sit tight. I feel like we need to get 100. If we can get 150 people in the chat, then I feel like it's a good time to share the clip, because this clip basically, and I mean, every season, the reunions, we know the reunions show that the people were not what they led us to believe.
Right.
Every season, the women complain that the men on the show are not really on the up and up. It's some BS. And it always be the ones that be doing the most showboating. Them be the ones. I just want to say, I feel like all this season, we have been focusing on Darius. And I feel like Darius.
Now you see what they got in what make them cool. Now
it's what had him cool. But I will say this: Darius was who he was. He is who he is, and we expected it. We got 152 people in the chat, so I think it's time. I think it's time to roll the tape, and then let's get to it.
About his business, you cannot see a future with me because your future is in disarray. Wow. Let's say that. No, ain't no wow to it because I didn't do anything personally to you. I was here to support you. He wants to be a provider, but if you cannot do those things, then that made you feel inadequate. To tell me that I'm not worthy of being a wife or a mother when we had already talked about how I felt about proceeding with being a mother and having children was very hurtful to me. If you would have just said to me, hey, I need to get my life together. I don't have time for a relationship right now because things are crazy. I would have took that on my chin and said, yeah, get it together, baby. And you're not going to sit up on that roof and tell me that, oh, we going to live out this love story. And then 3 weeks later, I don't see you in my future. Make up your mind.
Yes, wishy-washy.
Because now you confused. And one thing I'm not is confused, baby. And I cannot be led by a confused individual. So stand on business about me. Like, you don't sit up here and portray this, because I'm not going to take away from who you are, but you're not going to downplay it. I'm not nobody's fool. I'm not cool, because what you did to me, I don't with. And it's not cool to me how you did me. I didn't deserve that. You shouldn't have met my family. You shouldn't have met my children. You weak as for that.
Woo!
Got to be more careful.
Got to be more careful. Yeah.
I'm going to defer to you. I'm going to defer to you.
It's safe to say he hit a couple times. Yeah, man, we've had this conversation, ladies. We've had this conversation on these shows, whether it be Mizell, whether it be him, whether it be the
you know what?
smooth talking brother, the well-spoken guy. We've been down this route. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going. Y'all going to learn. Usually, if it's too good to be true, there's something. I ain't gonna say it can't be true, but it's a little off and it's not normal. How do you know? Because a lot of times, if you don't like this is how you know stuff is real sometimes, because you're not gonna like everything I say, but it'd be real. Not everything a man says. That's how you know, okay, he's not lying, because I don't like to hear everything. It's not all preaching. And I'm not saying the some part of the fairy tale can't happen or whatever, but I think we don't really lift up under the hood. And it goes both ways. I don't want to put this on women, but we're talking about a man and woman in this situation. We don't look up under the hood. We see the surface and it feels good. More importantly, for some reason, it sounds good. And it's spoken and it's dressed up like we want it to be, or at least to our palate. But it's only time will reveal, and obviously it did. Now, I think Christal was alluding to the fact that at least, and we're not rooting for, this is not a thing, but we saw who Darius was from the beginning, and he spoke like who he was.
He did.
This gentleman, this brother did not. What's the movie with Angela Bassett and when she was in Chadwick Bowles with the Black Panther?
Mm-hmm.
He got the Black Panther outfit on, y'all.
He does have the Black Panther outfit on, and I you know what? I'm gonna just be honest, and because we are family.
Yes.
When we heard that there was a Nigerian,
go ahead and say it,
on the show, I did not. I said, you know what? I will not, because I feel like, we as African Americans, we as people of color, we should not stereotype one another.
We should.
I have a girlfriend. She was like, no, because there are quite a few of Nigerians that do a lot of scamming, and we had Bello on the show.
Yes,
Bello came on the show, and he actually he was a man of his word. He gave us his word that he was going to get on. He got on, even though he was in traffic. He was extremely well spoken. And I hate that because I mean, not that we're not well spoken, but I would say not even so much well spoken as cultured. He sounds very cultured. He spoke about a rate. And that, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel my spidey senses were tingling just a bit because I used to work for a real estate investment firm. And I'm aware that a lot of people, when they start to play with other people's money, that leads to very, very suspicious things. And when he said about wanting to create a community where people, it sounded, I heard these things with the Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
Jay
Morrison. And the fact that, and I grew up in Tulsa, so people in Tulsa were like, what? Like this, but I just, we don't want to always assume the worst.
And let me say this before we go any further. We don't know the details. We're alleging because we still don't know exactly what it is. I want to be real clear.
What we do know.
We know something ain't right.
Something in the milk ain't clean. And what we do know is that Dominique said something that I think was very, very important. She said, you can't see me as your future because your future isn't, is not set. And you're confused. And she also suggested that what he was saying he could do, he was not able to do.
If you couldn't do it and you need to get yourself together, you should have said that.
Should have said that. He should have said that. Now I'm not gonna lie. I was shocked. First of all, kudos to Dominique for keeping it real. Because a lot of times people come on the reunion and they try to hide stuff and then it comes out later. But we have to stop. I'm speaking from the Coalition of African American Women Standing for Justice. I just created that, but I'm going to stand for it. Women need to stop lying, protecting, and basically being a co-conspirator with these scamming Negroes. So I give our sis a hand clap. Can you give her a hand clap there? I would like to hand clap.
My sound ain't coming up. My board is up.
Thank you. I think we need a hand clap because I appreciate the fact that she kept it real for herself. Because a lot of times we will protect them at all costs. I am here to say that ends in 2026. If he's a liar, he's a liar, and you're gonna say he's a liar. We cannot be covering you people because you all have not covered us.
Hey, it happens. You fall for that. I mean, it's the fairy tale. It can happen.
Thank you, Tammy. Tammy said she's taking the minutes on this first coalition. What we need to do now is, first of all, Tammy, we all need the women in the coalition. Our first order of business is to offer support for our sis Dominique. Thank you for that. Thank you. Because we do it far too often. And I think, a lot of times now, if it's something that he has in his past and he's actually moved forward, I'm okay with that. But as far as protecting people that have not protected you, we are no longer doing that. And I say I would ask for someone to second that motion, and then we will carry the motion forward. If I can get a second on that motion, we're going to move forward with that. Okay. Yes, the notes are being taken. But I do want to say, because you say something a lot. You say that women fall in love with what they hear, and men fall in love with what they see. But I think that in this situation, I always assume that a guy is going to put maybe push a 7 to a 10, push a 5 to a 7, right? So, but to misrepresent yourself to that point, and then when it's found out that you have misrepresented yourself, then you decide, then you want to reject the woman, or you want to. Awesome. The motion has passed. Thank you so much, Tammy. The motion has passed.
Is he still going to pay the money on the lease? Was that the issue?
Well, first of all, First of all, I think that both of us were right. He was lying. He was saying that he was going to pay the lease.
That's fair.
He wasn't going to pay it.
Yeah, he's reeling her in.
He was reeling her in.
Hey, let's be clear. What? He said he would find you the price. He says enough to get you going, to hold you on.
And he also said that in the deal that he automatically was offered 1 month free. So that's why he would give it to her.
He told us that. Here's the funny part. He told us that this was shot a year ago. He told us that a couple weeks.
He kept the lie alive. He's keeping a lie alive. Amen. That's why I didn't think about that. This Negro came on here, got in the back of the car, and spoke to us in that Canadian accent and told us that he was willing to pay the first month's rent. And then, you know what? But I will say this. When he told us about, because you guys know me, I am the first one that wants to support. If over the years, he's ready to love people come on here. And if they have something going on, we support them. I put up Ina Lee's song. I asked you people to go download it. I did. And so when I interviewed him and he was here, he mentioned the name of the rape, right? So what I did, because I did an article on him, I looked it up. I couldn't find it.
You don't say.
I looked it up. Trust me, you guys, there's an article coming out tomorrow. Oh, it's coming out tomorrow. And then we're going to talk about it on Friday. But because I put the name in, I was like, well, maybe I'm misspelling it. I couldn't find it. Nothing came up on Google. Nothing came up on ChatGPT, right? But I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, well, maybe it's just in the planning stages. Maybe they haven't released that information to the public.
You got a Cash App up.
Now, not only, you're right, we do need to give you guys, give Mo some flowers in the chat, because Mo was not bamboozled. When I called him and I was like, did you see the clip? He was like, what clip? I said, the clip. He was like, oh yeah. And I said, I was surprised. And he was like, he was not. And he was not. Y'all give Mo his flowers. Give Mo his flowers in the chat. I guess it just goes to prove that when it comes to men see through men.
That's a whole nother thing, because I was thinking about that today at work. I was like, man, when I'm trying to tell you this stuff, and I was really referring to the Vince situation.
Oh.
I'll be trying to tell y'all stuff about, like, y'all want me to, I can't really say too much about women outside looking in, but y'all know them better than I do. But when I say stuff about men, women act like I don't know men. Like, y'all know better than me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to shut up.
Don't shut up. No, Mo, you don't shut. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. And the same token, though, thank you. The flowers are coming in. Do you see them? They're at your feet. The flowers are coming in. But I want to say this. The women give you a hard time, but every time you talk to a guy, they're always like, that girl don't know what she's talking about. They probably call me all kinds of stuff. They feel like I'm bad. And you know what? I don't care. But I know the men are always going to act like I'm being a bitch or whatever.
You can't trip on them, because you got to understand, they're not women. So when you speak about women, I mean, I might see some things and don't see it like that, but I can only go so far because I'm not a woman. You got better insight than I do.
Yeah. I will say that I got some information. I'm just going to put this out there. We're going to talk about it on Friday when we all watch the show. But I just got some information that everything that Mo thought is going to come to pass. On Friday, we may have to make Mo an honorary member or an advising member, Tim, because I feel like I just got a sneaky suspicion from what I hear that it's going to go down, and it's going to go down, and I don't know how many people are going to make it through. But I will say this: I don't think we're going to have any surprises from Darius, and I feel I want to offer Darius. And not an apology for what we said, because what we said is true.
Right.
But for the fact that He was keeping it real. He has presented pimpalicious energy from the beginning.
You get
what you see is what you get. The woman that joined him, she said what it was. She said, if there's a good looking woman, he's going to put her to work. He did say, he said he's a fashion designer. He said that he's, you know, he's multiple businesses. He everything that he said has
just because you put a raccoon on the collar of a jacket, it don't make it no fashion design.
Man, but you know what? All this time we were focused on the raccoon. Meanwhile, the biggest lie.
It was coonery going on the other side of the room.
Coonery from left to right. Damn it, man.
Damn it, man.
Kudos to our good sis, Dominique.
You know what? That was, as much as we talk, you know, I know people in Tubi movies and this, that, and if anything I've seen on that I've seen thus far, and I came in on the end of Dallas, beginning of Fort Worth, that was one of the realest emotions I've seen.
I agree.
Like, I felt her, like that felt real. You know, whether if she's that good of an actress, but that honestly felt real.
I agree. That was my next thing was like, you know,
because of her parents and her kids. I think if they weren't in it, she wouldn't have got. I think that was the thing that got her.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Rightfully so, yeah. Like, to me, you know, it's a TV show, right? And at the end of the day, people are attracted to it because there's opportunity. Even if you did really come with a pure heart and pure intentions, there are still opportunities that you can, that come out of being on a show, right? Some people just want to be on television. There's a lot of people that want to be on television. And then other people I think there's some people that just need some validation. I don't know, but they want something. They may want their business to take off. They want it's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like it's real grimy because you could do two different things. We've heard people, in fact, last season in Philly, I ain't gonna lie, Philly, we didn't have as much, it wasn't as smooth, it was more just kind of in your face, but I just feel like the people were real. It feels like Detroit has a little bit of some BS happening because it's presented in a more polished package. And it's BS. But my point is, if you're just there for the opportunity and to win, right? I'm not mad at that because we expect that. We know people come on Love is Blind. You go here because you want to be on TV. You want to promote your business. You want to be that. But to me, it's really grimy to take it to the next level of meeting someone's family and presenting that to their family. And I'm going to say why. I know myself, I was a single mother for most of my kids. My kids were 9 to 18, well, actually beyond that. And I did not introduce my children to anybody because I didn't really take anybody serious. But if I had, I was very clear, that's a whole different level.
It is.
That's a whole different level. And I feel like you could get your win on television. You could get the popularity of it without taking it to a personal level. That's dirty. I feel like that's dirty. And I mean, we're speaking we don't know. We just know that with this clip, that's a powerful clip because we do know that he got married. And we do know that our good sis said in that clip that 2 days before he decided, whatever he did to decide he didn't want to be with her, he was in her bed. Also, I want to point out a few other things. And I want you to speak to this. We've had these conversations before. A lot of times when a man gets caught, his first reaction is to put the blame on the woman. And that to me is dirty too. To tell her that that you're not a wife and all that. No. You saw this the whole time. Basically, you're upset because I see that you're not what you what you claim to be. And so the easiest thing to do is to try to put rejection in my face because you couldn't keep up.
That's true. It goes, yeah, that's very true. A lot of guys do that. I've heard stories like that, and wind up being true. That's 1000% right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people deflect immediately soon as you know, but guys tend to go into the woman's character. You know what I'm saying?
I think because men know that. Well, I'm just going to kind of defer to you today because we owe you. You saw through it, and I just be hoping that it could be like not the BS, man, but it's always the BS. But like I have another guy friend, and I remember him telling me that that's the easiest way to gain control in the situation. As soon as you get caught, you just put it on her because a woman is gonna feel that's gonna get them off, and then you maintain control of the situation. And to me, for him to try to make it about her, that was really low. And I mean, we haven't heard his response, and I'm not trying to. We just going off the edit, which I feel like we have a right to do as of today.
But here's the thing. I don't know if people remember the profiles before the show started. Christal had the promo pictures, and we were just making up profiles based on what we saw, right? We were just around into seeing the names, seeing the occupations. And when he came up and it was real estate, we did this jokingly thing. I don't know if people want to go back to that episode. And we were like, what? Nigerian real estate? And here we are. I don't know if I specifically remember that.
No, I remember that too. And I remember feeling, and people always, this is the crazy thing, like every season, these, people that are on the show complain to us about the edit, right? But every time they give us content. And because we speak on it, then all of a sudden this is a TV show. So what you show up and show us is what we have to deal with. I don't care how they cut it, because some of your true character is going to shine through.
But here's the interesting part, especially in this Bello situation. Throughout the show, other than we're going to see in this reunion, he hasn't had a bad edit.
He has not.
He hasn't had anything that really, where you could strongly question his character. We kind of just went along with it and was like, okay, he couldn't decide, but it was no harm, no foul. He didn't really have no bad spin on him.
He didn't. Even the way I will say this, and I want to say, not only, it ain't like, because we say, okay, we know Dominique is used to being with men that are affluent, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Just like some men could be like, I always get a bad chick. We don't sit on the, okay, you do. I know a lot of guys that will tell me, I don't get nothing but, I'm like, okay, all right, you can, whatever you tell me, I'm gonna work with it until I see different, right? So, but she has actually been a wife of a professional athlete and been a public, I don't know if they were engaged, but she was in a public relationship with one other one, and even some more as far as the internet goes. We don't know what's true or not, but we do know she was married for 20 years. So I don't feel like anything that she presents, and she was on Basketball Wives. So what she presents is what we know to be true, because we have receipts. She was married to this person. She talked about businesses they own. Now everybody goes through, hardships, ups and downs or whatever. And she actually was honest in her past. I read an interview where she acknowledged that after her divorce, she went through some hard times, and she got herself back on her feet and she pulled herself up. So I just can't, and Dominique hasn't. The only reason that people have assumed the things that we assumed about her as far as what her lifestyle is like have been because of how she presents herself and what we know of her past, right? She's never been braggadocious with the edit that we had. She's never talked about what she had. She's never talked about anything like that. She just presents a certain way. If she was playing a game, she played a good game. I've always said that. She played a good game. She knew how to definitely appeal to the men. And I think a lot of women could take note of that. Now, Bello, everything that we know about him, he is the one that offered to when she mentioned the fly closet, he's the one that offered. He does real estate. This is what he does. He's able to do this and do that. So at that point, we kind of have to call, if it's not true, then you're a liar. So, because I saw someone saying, what about Dominique's money? Dominique ain't never talked about any money.
He didn't.
But Dominique is the only person on this show that actually has receipts just from her past. You can Google her name and see what she has. What she has had. And one thing I do know about women that are in those circles, it ain't hard for them to catch another one. Would you agree?
Obviously, she did a couple times.
Exactly. So I'm saying, like, I don't think she's presented anything besides she didn't have anything to prove. I feel like she's probably the only person on this cast that had nothing to prove because everybody knew of her already. A lot of the guys knew about her because when they making introductions, a lot of them said they already knew who she was. A lot of the girls said that when we went to Detroit and we talked to Christina and the rest. A lot of them knew already who she was. She already had a reputation that preceded her to this show. I'm going to assume the casting agents really probably felt like convincing her to be on the show was a good deal because people did know that she really is that chick. So I feel like Bello is like, that's the only place there was something to prove. Now, with the other young ladies, he didn't, at least from what we saw, we didn't see him really talking a lot about his material, what he had and what he could offer. If you notice, Dominique was the only person that he was offering something because he already knew that he was going to have to do that to get her. He knew that.
I mean, I don't know when she was talking about the things that she wanted to do. I mean, I don't know if he planned that. I don't know how you can plan something like that and then figure out a way to get your real estate in there. So I don't know if that's
well, I don't mean that he planned it, but I mean he was doing what he had to do to reel her in.
I know.
And he thought that would reel her in. When he was talking to let's look at the whole thing because Dominique was not the only person that was feeling Bello. Lauren also, and I'm sure Lauren was sitting on the sofa, but she could have been in that same, I think if she just didn't play her hand right because she would have been in that same situation and pissed. But Lauren was into Bello. Ashanti, when Bello was with Ashanti, I started thinking about it when I saw it. I was like, he kind of gave everybody what they wanted to hear. You guys remember that date when he and Lauren were sitting out on the water and he gave her the conversation that she wanted to hear. Ashanti, he talks about, his therapy and he was painting. There was one scene when Ashanti was talking about painting and, being this free spirit. And he was saying, after this, I got a chance to paint and I realized that's something I want to continue to do. Again, my spidey senses were like, this sounds like some bullshit, but I didn't want to say it.
I thought you said he's about to buy her a paintbrush or something. Okay.
No, you guys remember that scene? He said,
I remember.
He said that his parents encouraged him not because his parents were always, doctors and lawyers and he couldn't be an artist, but now he had experienced the painting and that was something that he wanted to do again. It just didn't feel real to me. I was like, he's just saying what?
Con artist. If that's a phrase.
Yeah, a con artist in the works.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we're just speaking on, but the way that scene happened. See, a lot of times females come on and they will try to protect the man.
Yeah, do they?
I think they don't like. This was not protection.
I didn't see what's the name from Philly do that.
Who? Which one?
Against Cam. What's her name?
You're not talking about Rose, are you?
Yeah, Rose. She didn't protect. Who got?
First of all, Rose is not. She's an outlier because not only did she not protect, she tried to throw people on the bus a lot. She's not a regular woman. But you also called her out. We started all seeing that she was.
But who protected? What woman protected any man on here?
I think that a lot of times. Well, yeah, they did kind of put, what's his name, Cisco out there. But Kiara, who was with Cisco, she could have said a lot of bad things about him, but she did not. She could have said, she said, because even when she came on here, remember we liked her. She was like, I'm not going to take away from who he was. I really was into him. She didn't make fun of, we understood that he didn't have a home.
He is a lot more humbler though.
But I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of times women do, I know personally some situations, I don't want to put nobody out there.
Oh no, I get it.
But I know some situations where the person could have said a lot and they did not.
Right. No, I get
They
it.
definitely protected Cisco. And I think like that actually is, like, I respected her for that. When she came on, she was like, she didn't want to make him look bad as a man, because she never did just go into the play-by-play of what the situation was.
Well, that was before the reunion, so we don't know what she.
But right. But on the reunion, even there was a lot of stuff, but she still didn't say anything.
Okay.
She didn't dog him out on the reunion.
That's fair.
The person that dogged people out had the least reason to do that. And that was Rose, but she doesn't count. I'm just saying she doesn't count because her behavior was kind of like something ain't right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying most women, if they felt something for the man, you know, you don't want him to be embarrassed. Because I will say sometimes men don't realize we're protecting them when we are, because we know that embarrassing a man publicly is gonna.
But we get it more if we do it to a woman. That's why you see Hussein. Yeah. Like we don't, but we're like we women say we're not protected by black men. You know how much stuff, even on these shows that do, and even the stuff that I know from another show, whatever, that never got out. And I'm just That's like, true. We don't say a lot.
That's true. I do. We should. You guys send Mo some more flowers on behalf of the guys, because I have also talked to men. Even before Philly, obviously Cam and Hussein both protected Rose publicly. We already know that just from what we saw. But even before that, and I will say, even when we first started dating Diaries, and we would talk to people about coming on, most men do not want to publicly embarrass or humiliate a woman that they were with. I will admit that. Now, women have the T app, all these groups that they are putting out
real photos,
people's job information. But I will say with that, I think sometimes men, you know, you got to realize, men and women, you play with people's feelings, but you know, that's a very sensitive thing. And sometimes you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
That's true. But
That's true. I do think that when it comes down to it, men do protect women more. We're talking about black men and black women. But I also think that it's important at reunions and things like this to be honest, because what's going to happen is if Dominique had come on and protected Bello, there's large groups of women that are always going to make the woman the villain. You know?
That's true.
So I like the fact that she showed that she was actually hurt. I felt like I've said this whole season, I felt like Dominique was not as into Bello as he was into her. Now I realize I was wrong.
And that's cool for you to admit, because I was just about to say, like, that kind of like, well, she's running game and she can. I mean, even if you're running game, the person running game could get caught up too. Or that's, you know what I'm saying? That you're playing, and then I don't know if it's I met my match, but I don't care who you are, how much game you run, eventually you're gonna like someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think this was one of those situations.
I think so too, because there's really no reason. There is no point in continuing the game after the show, unless you're trying to, like, I do know a lot of people already think that they're going to be on a spinoff, right?
Right.
And sometimes the people I know of people that were on this show that have told other people they left with, let's stay together so that we can try to get other opportunities, right? So people do that. We know that.
Joni Chachi.
What?
Joni loves Chachi.
Yeah, they're trying to create that, that power couple that, like Joy and Clifton that gets on another show and just keep. But the thing is, what I want to say to people, like, you realize that fraud, that you got to keep up that lie. You got to keep the lie alive. And that's not easy to do.
Especially when you don't really like them no more.
Well, especially when there's huge holes and they have pretended to be something that they're not.
Right.
Now, I do want to ask you this because I do think that there's a lot of pressure put on men to be the consummate provider. So I want to ask you, like, how do you think men can approach that and still keep a woman's confidence, but, you know, not to keep her interested, but also be honest? Like, I think people put a little bit of extra on everything. We put makeup on, we put a waist trainer on. Okay, your stomach may not be that flat.
Yeah, I'd be that straight.
Yeah.
Or might not be there at all, but you do.
See, but I feel like I used to be so, I don't understand why more women are not like that, man. I would, when I was dating, I would be so worried about a man saying, well, you don't look like I thought you looked. So I don't wear a lot of makeup. And then I would always do a early date with the natural hair. So what you're not going to do is say, I don't know what your natural hair looks like. Not going to do that. So I would, even when I did wear weaves and stuff, I'm not playing those games, because I would just think how embarrassing and hurtful that must be when you have lied to somebody and they see the real you and then they're not attracted to you. That hurts. I want to get if there's hurt coming, hurt me early. Don't hurt me late. Because then
I dated one for close to 5 years. I'd never seen their hair.
But that's kind of on you, though.
Well, I'm supposed to make her. She go to get it.
I mean, why would you? How are you guys not taking? You never took a shower together, or is she in there with the weave? She in there with the wig.
It's so that she's in there with the joint on.
I just think that every night, 5 years is a long time.
Oh, it was off and on for 5 years, but she go when it start to get a little razzle dazzle. She go get it done. I never seen it.
Let me ask you this: were you ever standing behind her and happened to get a hit of trouble?
I seen a little stuff underneath. I seen the little stuff underneath, but I just saw the little pieces of it. I just never seen the whole thing.
Did you feel disconnect? No, it wasn't a long distance relationship. Did you guys live? How long did you live together?
A year and a half. But we dated before that. You know, it was often, but the year and a half living together. Might have been 2 years living together.
I don't know, Mo. I think, but I've heard a guy say that how can I get? It doesn't feel truly intimate. You can't put your hands in a woman's head like hair. You never.
Hey, I'm used to that. That's a lot of them. I just pull what's there. It's sold in.
Yeah, in some cases glued down. But still, I think if you can't be, I don't understand how that could happen. But obviously, he did tell me that. He's not lying. But that's weird to me, because I may not be able to. What if I just didn't get to the salon? First of all, I'm taking my hair.
Somebody said I'm too. If I was that superficial, I would have broke up with her the moment I knew I could.
That's not. I am surprised about. I'm not seeing most black women. No. Don't say most women, but where most black women do not. I don't know about most. There are a lot of black women that do wear wigs and weaves. However, there are usually a time when that comes out just to keep it. I mean, nobody. I don't know very many people that keep it in all the time.
Man, she was very. You know the situation. She was very. She'd go to get it switched out and come back home.
I'm asking you as a man, did you feel intimately connected?
I felt a little cheated that I couldn't really. She didn't wear a lot of makeup.
Okay.
Anyway,
But okay, Big G Jam says, isn't Bello now married and happy with his wife? Can't we just say that him and Dominique just not matching? No, we absolutely cannot.
We need to. We ain't doing
No, because he lied and led us all down this path. No, that's why he came on the show. I don't feel bad about this at all. This is what comes with coming on the show. No, absolutely not. That woman, met her kids and sat up in front of her mom and dad. Come on, man.
I think that's it. Yeah, no, don't do that. You see her father, and she was up not to go against her father, but she
hold on. Dayback says your hair looks great, but I think you wear weaves or braids most of the time. Okay, first of all, thank you for the compliment. But because I said, and Mo, you know me,
Yeah.
You know, you've seen me with my natural hair. I didn't. There's a lot of times I didn't wear weaves and wigs. This is my hair. It's
I'm
locked.
gonna be honest with you. You can't tell. Crystal looks. It's not. She's not one of them.
I had a lot of hair. I always had a lot of hair. So usually guys will be like, "Why are you wearing a wig?" But the thing about it is, it's not that because I wear a wig because women wear it for different reasons to protect your natural hair. All I'm saying is that I would feel like I wanted the man to know me in my totally natural, because and I'm saying this because if a man sees you and you're natural and he's not attracted to you, that is going to hurt. I will say this, I don't know about most women, but I want to ask you guys in here to chime in. Most men are most attracted to a woman when she's in her natural state. Any man that is saying to me, if a man said to me, I put on that makeup, most guys be like, I like you like this. And I think that's a good rule of thumb. If you don't feel comfortable being without makeup and without hair, that's not the man for you. Because guess what? What if you get sick? What if something happens and you don't feel comfortable around him without having all this on? That's not good.
You're laying on the side of the road and he drove right past you because he couldn't recognize you.
I feel like you have to always be comfortable with that person. With that person, you should be able to feel comfortable. And I think as women, we have to start realizing most men, we got a lot of friends that are couples. They always like their wife natural. If he don't, he's suspecting me to get rid of him.
Send y'all natural pictures in. We're gonna be here for another hour. Send y'all natural pictures in the Christal XO. We're gonna see. We're gonna not nip this in the bud.
She said most of them be lying. Okay, Mo, Mo, do you think she says most of them? Do you think most men are lying when they say they like the woman natural?
No, I know they're not lying.
Y'all, we have to.
They don't, because they see us, might turn our head to someone if we're out or look at a magazine or like something on social media that we like that looks nice for what that is. But when we talk about a natural state or whatever, when we were in junior high and high school, they weren't doing all that. So obviously they weren't wearing lashes in junior high. I mean, we really do. But if you don't give it a chance, how do you know? I'm telling you, that is a real thing.
You know what? Jordan Johnson, I love this.
Good with it on natural. That ain't my fault. We're saying the ones that do look good with it.
I like this. Jordan Johnson said, facts, Miss Crystal. As a 27-year-old with a healthy attraction for women, a nigga is weird if you don't like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I like that. See, because a lot of people were like, we're younger guys, but see, that's a real one right there. Thank you for chiming in, because we need to hear men's opinion. And I'm not saying, I did my natural hair. Now, I'm not saying I did my natural hair and let it dry and didn't put product in it and comb it out. Like, I mean, I'm not saying just to look.
Let's be clear. Comb your hair.
Comb your hair, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't shave your legs and all that and just no. But I'm saying I know a young lady, an influencer that was dating a rapper. I'm not gonna say who it was. But she said that she never let him see her without a full face of makeup on and her lace front. And I remember thinking, well, this is going to end. And of course it did. But if you got to get up an hour before him and put on contour, and that's not a man that loves you for you.
Crystal, I'm going to put this out there. That woman that you know me that I really liked, right?
Yes.
What is her state?
Her what?
What is her state?
She's got a short haircut.
Is it natural? Yes.
Yeah, she always fly. Her hair is always fly, but she definitely has a shortcut and it's natural. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and she doesn't wear makeup. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all think that. Now, it ain't my fault if you're not attracted in that, but we're saying we do find that attractive a lot of women. It's really the features. Your bone structure, all that other stuff.
I also want to say that when I cut my hair, Mo was not supportive.
Well, that was a little different. It wasn't your it just wasn't your style for your, that's it. It wasn't the natural part of the hair. It's still about style that, fix whoever's face. You know what I'm saying? Let's be clear. Yeah.
Tammy said if natural hair is not long and loose curls or straight, many men don't find it attractive. But I mean, like I said, most the girl that we're talking about that I know he you know, he liked a lot, like his like that one that had his heart. She has a short fly cut. I think that we do see this European standard of beauty, but I don't think all the time men are buying into that. Now, if that is how he sees you and he likes it, it's cool, but that doesn't mean that, you know, that he would not like her. I think if a man really loves you, he will love you if you lose weight, if you gain weight. Now, he may not want you to gain too much weight, but I'm just saying he's going to love you. It's not going to be all like that. You got to be comfortable with yourself. Most thing is we're not comfortable with ourselves. Now, Miss Pretty Amazing says, what if a woman has lost her edges?
Well, I didn't notice edges until a woman pointed it to me.
You noticed them if they were gone.
Huh?
If they were gone, you'd notice.
No, I did not. So I told you the story that I didn't know. And then when they pointed out, I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't even seeing that part.
How are you not? Okay, I'm not gonna that take us down a rabbit hole. But yeah, we're just saying that, you know, but I'm asking you, I started asking you, how can a man keep a woman's attention and be honest, but not add too much, not put 10 on the 2? Because maybe I'm gonna give Bello the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he felt like he really liked Dominique. I think he liked whoever he felt like was the win for him, because he was talking this thing to a lot of different women. But what if he, you know, is there a way? Some men feel like in order to get this woman's attention, I have to lie.
Right.
What advice would you give a man that feels like that?
At that point, if it is, then that's simply not the woman for you. You be in the room, just like we were just talking about women being in their natural state or whatever. We have to be in our natural state as well. You know what I mean? Natural state of being, like talking who we really, really are. Like, for instance, a lot of women like Vince, and obviously that's who he naturally is in every setting, right? And they dig him for that. And that will draw that type of woman. But for a guy to feel comfortable in that space, he has to feel accepted, you know. And but you got to introduce you early, not wait until she likes and you play that game. Come in as you are. It's the law of attraction. Be you. You're going to attract what's for you. If you try to be someone else, you're going to attract what's for someone else, and then you're going to be mad that that thing doesn't work. Well, you didn't attract what was for you, and you can't be anyone else, even though you attracted what that was. So being in, and like you were saying about like presenting, like if she's really digging you and your friend, I don't care. And I was told this a long time ago. She'll eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with you on the floor if she likes you, you know. But you got to take your time and let her see you, not let her see who you want her to. You see him? Let her see you. You know, you don't have to put on any airs, and she will dig it. The smile, it's the simple things, and then you can build. But if you start high, and this is what I've learned, if you start high, it's no telling. You got to keep that high up. If she digs you down here, then it's up is the only way to go. You enjoy any setting. But when you come in here and you're trying to flash all these, the ambiance or whatever, when that's gone, does she still like you? You don't never know. That's why it's hard to take her. She don't like you. She like the space that you took her in. But to like you is to see her raw. So when I hear women say a picnic, she means that for the guy she really, really likes.
Yeah.
But if you're leading with the wrong thing, that's on you, brother. That's on you. And you and I had that conversation. And you told me so many times, you was like, you know, the guy's leading with, because she's going to fall in love with your hand and not your heart.
Yeah, but you know what? Jordan says he got to be okay with her not liking him back. I think that's on both sides.
That's the big, because they all ain't going to go.
Yeah. But I think that's the same thing with the women. Like, you gotta be so confident in you that if you present who you are and that person doesn't want to be with you, then that's not the person for you. And you feel like you haven't lost anything, because being with someone that does not like you for you, I don't want to be with nobody that I had to have on a wig and lashes and all that all the time.
I think because with hunters, that's the thing. And we have to learn to flip it and say, if she doesn't like you, you just dodged the bullet. Look at it like, don't look at it like you lost.
I remember I had a friend that told me the girl that he was with, he was a music producer, and he was like, the girl that he was with left him because she, you know, she wanted a guy with a lot of money. And he was like, I just want to get enough money to get her. And I was thinking, you ain't never going to get her because she's going to come for a while, but it's always going to be somebody with more money.
I just seen the what's the brother's name from Alabama? The boxer. Forget his name. He was on one of them sites. And he was with the young lady, pretty or whatever, the type that a lot of guys would go for visually.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, I'm so upset that she left. When I started losing, she left. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be real with yourself. Could you pull this chicken and when you
they happened to Dante Wilder?
That was thank you. That's who it was. Yeah.
Wow. Yikes. I did not know that. Michelle has a point. Women are kidding yourselves about weight. Many men get stuck with overweight women who let themselves go. Keep lying to yourself. He is grossed out.
Not necessarily. If he loves that woman, because now let's just say he changed too. She might not throw it in his face or bring it up or feel away, but she noticed the waist expanding and so on and so forth. I think when a man loves a woman, he'll accept a lot more. Now, when you're on the fence or you're not sure, or when you're meeting a woman and that's not you, but if you with your woman, you guys are both thin and she got big or you guys got big together, I don't think a guy's looking at it the same way. He's not looking at it like he's disgusted. I don't think so. I never experienced that, but in my mind of like that particular woman that I was really liking at that time that Christal was referring to with the short haircut, she could have been, because I was all in at the time. I would have been all in. We never actually dated. But I really, really dug her to that level where it didn't matter.
You say things like that, it makes me hold out hope. But you know, I mean, Michelle, that could be true because I have heard men say that they did love their wife. But I think that it's up to both people to try to make yourself attractive for your mate. Now, I think that, you know, life happens and women do have babies and estrogen, which work against us. But I do think that, you know, part of being a partner is to try to make sure that your partner is attracted to you. But we're just talking about if he gets with her and she's 250 and she goes to 270, sir, that's on you, sir. But I think if a man, I think that we a lot of times we get with people, especially now, people are getting with each other because of what it looks like and what they can get out of it. And if you're not genuine, then you know you're gonna get, you know, that energy.
But that social media put a lot of pressure because you see the pictures from people. It could be AI at this point.
Yeah.
And couples and taking trips and everybody looks all fit and this, that, and the other. And people feel like if our photos aren't looking like that or we're not feeling like we're doing something wrong, and please, that is not true.
Yeah, that's not true. They said the women on My 600-Pound Life do always have a man. They do, but I would just ask because I have what's not true for people over 50. Jamal Mandigo, what is not true for people over 50? Women will say, well, you know, she got a man, but chances are, sis, you may not want that man.
Well, you and I used to have that conversation. He'd be like, this is when Christal was single. She was like, man, she was like, look at her. She got a man. I'm like, do you want that man? You don't even want that man. So why you care?
That's true. All right, here we go. Jordan, I like to have a young man in the chat. I got a question. What's the most important trait to look for when dating a woman for marriage? He wants both of our opinion. And I'm married and Mo is not. So Mo, I'll let you go first.
Self-respect, how she carries herself. The most important. Because it starts in and it goes out. Mm-hmm. How she carries and just her self-respect. She doesn't have self-respect, then it's no need to even venture and go that route. Mm-hmm. You know, there has to be a level of self-respect. How she carries herself, because she's going to feel like her presentation means something. So she's going to make sure how she's going to look in front of people. Without that, to me, that's the most important because everything else follows. How she, her kids, how she looks to other people, even how she looks in a relationship when you're not around. She's going to make sure she carries it because she's going to represent both of you. And I don't want people to look at me like this. I'm married. It's all self-respect for me. Christal she's a woman. I'm just saying from a male perspective, an older male's perspective, that's what I would say. How she carries herself is more important than anything.
I agree. I guess for me, like I would tell you, like I tell Mo or my son or any of my guy friends that I consider like brothers. And I always say, like, you gotta pay attention to how the woman treats you. Because a lot of times men will get excited if they get a certain woman because they have like, I want to get this one. And then when they get her, they will do all this stuff to keep her, right? And they never pay attention to what she's really doing. I'll give you an example. I had a girlfriend who was very pretty, and this guy was just very happy to be with her. So he would take her to floor seats at the Hawks. I mean, all these extravagant things. And then when he wasn't doing something extravagant, she didn't really want to hang out with him. But it was because he had offered all these things. Very few women are going to turn down floor seats, at the Falcons. And so, but what she would do is she would tell me or another friend to come with her because she didn't want to spend time with him with no one else. And I think I've seen guys get kind of so excited about a woman that you give her a lot up front and you never give her a chance to really show you what she feels for you. And so, because I mean, for all of us, the standard, your standards don't change, but what you will or will not deal with changes according to how your heart feels for that person, right? Mm-hmm. So, just for example, like my husband has 5 children. That is not something that I was looking for, but he also was very honest about everything going on when we first got together. So because I did like him, I made an exception for that. So he trusted me. He trusted himself enough to say, I'm putting this out. If you don't like me, this is who I am. And I respected that. But if it had been another guy, I'd have been like, no, I'm not doing that. So you got to, there are some things that we will make allowances for if we really like that person. So I think when men are always like, oh, she just wants the bag, she just wants money. There are some women like that, but then you should know that's not the woman for you anyway, because there's always going to be a man with more money. So if you are giving her things to win her over and you're never just allowing her to show you how she feels about you with nothing to entice, then you're setting yourself up for failure. And then I think it's on you. It's your fault because you didn't believe that you had anything to offer. Find a woman that when you guys are just talking about anything, she's smiling at you. She's not, the smile is not connected to something that you gave her. It's how she treats you, how she treats others. That's going to tell you, because even if you do have a lot of money, money can come and go. I know people that have money, they lose it, but usually a man that's ambitious and confident, he'll figure out how to get back on his feet.
That's very, very true. I've learned not to pay too much attention. I mean, pay attention, obviously, but really pay attention to how they treat everyone else. Most people got sense enough to try to put their best foot forward. That doesn't really mean too much. It does, and it's cool, but watch how they treat the people that been around, and especially how they treat customer service, because eventually that will be you.
Yeah, I mean, like, man, but I think sometimes, the biggest thing with both sides, like, men can get blinded by beauty, right? And you let the girl, and then, but what I have learned about men and beauty is women think, okay, they'll chase anything as long as it looks. They will chase it, but they also will have a hard stop. There will be a hard stop, and they'll be like, and then they will treat that woman really badly. So you definitely, you want to attract, you want to have a great inside, work on yourself so that what you put out attracts that back. Tammy comes through with the wisdom. When you put down cheddar as bait, you're bound to attract rats. So if the man is out here, you showing the money, and you get that, the woman that wants the money, she gonna want you to keep giving it. And that's what you led with. So that's kind of on you. And for women, if you lead with the sexuality and all that, and then you get that, and that's the extent of his interest, that's kind of on you.
She bring her friend on a date. That's a bad sign.
Yeah, because we went on all those dates. I know several friends that, took a shopping. Get Christal come. Okay. Hey, we're gonna get, but that's not, if that how it has to always be. And I think any girl that actually is being, is there with genuine interest, she's not gonna ask you to buy all of her friends' stuff. Like, that's just not how you do when you really are serious. That's how you do when you run a game. And you're gonna appeal to a guy that wants to show how much money he has. So he's gonna, I get you with all your ladies. What y'all want? That's usually somebody that's trying to showboat. So, I feel like, fair exchange is not robbery. But let's get back to this Dominique and Bello clip.
Damn it, man.
I want to get back because I feel like it is a great lesson for us to know that game does not always recognize game. Like you said, I think that Dominique has more experience than most of the other women on the show, if not for anything other than she's been a wife for an extended period of time. And anytime you are in a relationship, you learn, right? You just do. You learn what happens. A lot of people have a lot to say about marriage that have never been married. But if you've been married, even if you're divorced, you still learn something, right? So I think that gives her an edge. But I think that in this situation, the way that this looks, it suggests that she might have wanted the guy that had the most. It might have been, this is a guy that I can actually, he got a little something to himself. But I think there's always a bigger shark.
Hips don't lie.
The hips don't lie. In the words of Shakira, the hips don't lie. I think we should watch it one more time just to see if we get anything else. Because I think that I want us to be listening to the words, because women are very specific about the words that they say.
There you go.
And I want, because I'm assuming what this clip has led me to believe is that once they got off the show, things started to reveal themselves that maybe what he had presented was not true.
She was looking for the property. Where the property?
And instead of, acknowledging that, and she said, if you had just said to me, I can't do these things, I would have been like, okay, I got you. Now, if she would have been, we don't know. But at least he wouldn't be sitting up here looking like a liar. All you could do is tell the truth.
Now, that part, if he would have did that, she might, like you were saying, she might have saved him.
Depending on if she really liked him.
That's what I'm saying. If she really liked him and he came to her, as she said, or said he should have came, maybe that's when she would have protected him and saved him and be like, it just didn't work.
Right. I see what you're saying. Maybe she wouldn't have put him out there like this.
There you go.
This right here is someone whose feelings have been played with.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where you're feeling that. You can't fake that. It's the feeling that has been played with. And I'm just thinking of all the stuff that he said all season, like this feels like home, telling Lauren. He was telling all the chicks exactly what they wanted to hear. Every single one. We will let's watch this clip, and then we will go to the Christina and Vince clip, because that was interesting as well. But let's watch this one again, and then we're gonna get into the one with Christina and Vince.
About his business, you cannot see a future with me because your future is in disarray.
Wow.
Let's say that. No, ain't no wow to it because I didn't do anything personally to you. I was here to support you. He wants to be a provider, but if you cannot do those things, then that made you feel inadequate. To tell me that I'm not worthy of being a wife or a mother when we had already talked about how I felt about proceeding with being a mother and having children was very hurtful to me. If you would have just said to me, hey, I need to get my life together. I don't have time for a relationship right now because things are crazy. I would have took that on my chin and said, yeah, get it together, baby. And you're not going to sit up on that roof and tell me that, oh, we going to live out this love story. And then 3 weeks later, I don't see you in my future. Make up your mind.
Yes, wishy-washy.
Because now you confused. And one thing I'm not is confused, baby. And I cannot be led by a confused individual. So stand on business about me. Like, you don't sit up here and portray this, because I'm not going to take away from who you are, but you're not going to downplay it. I'm not nobody's fool. I'm not cool. Because what you did to me, I don't with. And it's not cool to me how you did me. I didn't deserve that. You shouldn't have met my family. You shouldn't have met my children. You weak as for that.
Yeah, that's
maybe child support hit him and took away some of the. I don't know. Something happened with him as well. And what I don't know. He did it all the game, but maybe something could have happened. And I don't know.
I think that's a little bit more than child support, because I just think the comment about the future and that statement of her saying that, I'm not confused, you're confused. I don't think. I don't know. We don't know if it's hurt from being embarrassed or because, she introduced him to her family. People saw the show. It could be embarrassment. It definitely could be embarrassment.
But just think about, she did that to her father, and they had the conversation about, what he believes in, what they believe in, they grew up as, and then for her to still stand on it and still want to be with this man, that's partly embarrassing. Because here I'm at, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't do that. You don't take it to that level. And like I said, so we don't know how long that was, but it was more than 3 weeks after the show, after they finished the show. If he didn't feel like that, he could have gotten out. But at the point that you're keeping the lie alive afterwards, that's dirty. I mean, I know people that have come on this show and decided together we gonna run this scam. I know that you got somebody. I'd rather you do that. I'd rather you do that than actually like scam somebody. And then I just feel like, again, we're talking a little prematurely. We're going to get into this on Friday night, but you came in the African royal garb. I feel like that was a real intentional thing, and he was acting like, when she was talking, like he just like, what? Like, I can't. And I'm like, it's almost like being condescending and scoffing her pain.
I mean, sit there and take it. Ain't nothing he can do that's going to click. He's got to sit there and take it. Yeah,
but saying like, like how could she be saying this stuff?
Because I heard him say a long while. Wow.
He said, yeah, he did. I just, that's not king behavior. We're gonna see what happens at the full reunion, but I just feel like that type of deceit doesn't happen unless it's intentionally done. Now, before we go into the Christina clip, it's funny tonight that you mentioned Mizell. I don't know how many of you were around when we were doing Ready to Love in New Orleans. There was a gentleman named Mizell that I think I actually thought he was a nice guy as well. And then a young lady came out, Lizelle, yes, that told us they were in a relationship. It was all a lie. He didn't come back on because first he came on, he talked, and then the young lady reached out and she said she had something to share, and we chatted with her, and we saw it was on Ready to Move because it was there in New Orleans.
Yep.
And you mentioned Mizell, and I said, you know what, Mo is almost prophetic at this point, because I happened to get a text message from Mizell. And he shared this with me along with the information on how to vote. There's his dog, for those of you.
This dog was some name like that.
Yeah, the dog was a part of his storyline.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? I'm not a hater. If there's any of you that want to vote for Mizell, he is in a contest to be Mr. Muscle and Fitness. There he is with his dog. I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to put the link in the chat because I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. If you all want to vote for Mizell, avail yourself to it. MrHealthAndFitness.com, and then there's his link. So please.
Why do I feel like that's one of those things? It's not the regular one. It's for older.
This is probably one of the things where they just You know what? I'm not gonna say that. Hey,
But
if y'all want to vote for Mizell, hey, you there? So she reporting that late. It ain't my problem. I'm just passing the word along.
Vote for that brother.
Hey, it appears that instead of going on Ready to Move, he should have just entered a muscle and fitness contest, because it appears that's what he was trying to do. Mo, we know the people. Mizell dated quite a few people. Cherie, and then he ended up getting. See, you know what? What I've learned, and Mo told me this a long time ago. Somebody other guy, it really does. It be the ones that we underestimate that really be doing the same thing. Always does. But yeah, if you guys want to, if you want to help a brother out, I'm happy to share the link. Yeah, MrHealthAndFit.com. I mean, we do like to see men taking care of themselves. Specifically men of a particular age, seasoned men. It's good to see men taking care of themselves. So kudos to Mizell. Just
please vote for
Mizell. Vote for Mizell. All right, now let's get into this. Another clip from the reunion. I'm tired and we haven't even gotten to Friday yet. It's Wednesday.
This is what I've been waiting on, because I want to see how the chat responds to all of this. I'll just say that. I
want you all to sit here now. We're getting ready to play this clip. I want you to be very, if you're doing something, put down what you're doing. Focus in on this clip, and then let's talk about it.
My man said that his back was hurting, baby. Like, I can guarantee you I'm already rubbing you. You come in the house late and you hungry, baby, you get some fresh meals. So it's the level of consideration I'm willing to give.
It sounds like it's more about the act and it's less about the money.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, the other things that you said that was important to you, you talked about personality, you talked about protection. Do they not outweigh the financial side? Because
let me just say this, because it seems like for someone who I was never interested in or never even pursued a relationship with, you have the most questions. The reality is, Bello, did we continue to converse and build, and Chris as well? Because I value friendship. I value character. Everyone can't be my man, though. That's the biggest thing you got to know.
Her voice sounds a little different. I don't know why.
Let me ask you. What did you think about that? I don't know where. What did you think about the clip? That's all. What did you think?
She's still on the same energy that she was during the show. I don't think she has I don't want to say a dislike, but she's not her favorite. Vince is not a favorite person. Obviously, they kind of bump heads before, right?
Right.
Christina's on what she's on, and there's nobody's going to change that. I thought, and he's the person he is.
They both are extreme personalities that are not gonna
total opposites. He's gonna probe and ask questions, and she's on some. We don't even have a connection. Why are you even asking me more than all these other guys? Why is this a thing? She looks a little different in that video too. I don't know what it is.
People have been saying, I've seen some questions raised that said she looks a little thicker. Someone asked, was she expecting? Yeah, I think, I guess
sounds a little huskier too. In that one thing, that's why it sounds different. I couldn't figure it out. That would anyway. Good. I'm sorry.
Now she looks stuffed and uncomfortable. It does look a little uncomfortable. I was thinking it looked very uncomfortable. I don't know if it's the dress or the hairstyle, but she did look a little different. She's still a beautiful woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she did not look like that when we saw her, which is after.
Maybe she just ate. They ate before the thing.
You know what? Jesse said maybe she may be a foodie call.
There you go, right there. Anyway, good. My bad.
I don't know. Like in this clip, I think I need some context. I don't understand why Vince was asking her the questions, because I feel like Vince did make it clear at the 70s party that they didn't have anything in common.
This is the police side of him.
It must be. But I will say, I feel as though, and I think I said this after, the finale on Friday. Ready to Love played in our faces the whole season. I really wish Christina had stayed on longer. Just because she has such a big personality, everybody can't be my man. She's
But I think it
theatrical.
was for the guys in the room. It made for good TV, but for the guys, it was just too much.
Too much for the guys. But I've seen them keep people around. I think they definitely should have kept her.
Who would have been her connection, though?
I don't think Ashanti had any connections. Actually, none of these people had real connections.
Yeah.
But Ashanti didn't have anybody that was a real connection, not a romantic connection. Ashanti was good friends with everybody. I kind of feel like Ashanti she played the game and right under the radar, because I really don't know how she stayed on that long.
She did, but she stayed out the way. She didn't annoy him.
Christina was not out the way.
Right. I think she flew under the radar, and that's how she got there. Only if it would have been Bello, Christina, and obviously Bello, Christina, and Dominique. That would have been his, right? I don't know.
Yeah, but I think Bello, because that was one of her connections, but I think Bello he felt like Christina has the look, but I think Dominique had the swag.
I got you.
Christina is a big personality.
Right.
And maybe a lot of the guys could not have done that. But I mean, like you said, a lot of people are saying Shannon didn't have a connection. I feel like Shannon and Steven had a connection. Ina, she was definitely, I said this that episode, like, she didn't play the game right. You don't play the game while telling the other team what you're doing.
Who does that?
It's like a football game. If the defense yells over to the offense what they're doing, they're gonna get hit. Yes. I will never understand why she told the guys what she was doing. I will never understand that. And I think for that reason alone, Bello probably made the yeah, he was like, yeah, this is gonna crash and burn.
But I didn't see
the text message until that. What we do know, and you know what, I owe Chris an apology. I thought Chris didn't have the money. Now Bello might not have had the money. It might have been all tied up in the African garb. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. This season, I don't know. I do feel like they played in our face, but I say this, and I'm standing on this. I don't think women, ladies, because I know a lot of the people want to be on the show. A lot of people, when they go to different places, I've actually sent several people to casting. I think we gotta acknowledge that the guy that you really want to take serious, that you really would, he's probably not going to sign up to be on a reality show. So if you do get on a reality show, then you've got to get somebody that's going to play the game with you, not somebody that's going to try to play you. I just think you got to, the strategy just be off. Ashanti was moving in slow motion, so it gave them to spin the block on her after the other elimination. Ashanti, I don't think Ashanti did that. I think that was on purpose. I think she knew, because if you guys remember, every time she was like, "Don't y'all embarrass me? I know y'all ain't gonna do me like that." Like, I think there was a lot going on behind closed doors. I hope we get some of that.
Always is.
I hope we get to hear some of that in the reunion. I do know that Shannon has a lot to say. Shannon is in the comments. I mean, not on this, but if you look in the comments on my Instagram page, Shannon is there. She's talking in the Facebook group. Shannon wants, I want her to be able to speak her mind. I feel like she has a lot to share, and I want her to speak her mind. I've reached out to Own to see if we can get Shannon on the show. I think she wants to share how she feels, and I want her to have a safe space.
Because I always like that. My favorite Shannon moment is when, not the fact that they said she wasn't ready to love, but when she heard it, she was like, she caught herself.
She had to compose herself. She had to bring the pearls back.
Yeah, she caught herself. That was
and I can relate to that because I too have a hair trigger. Sometimes Mo can't bring me back. Most of the time I bring myself back, but there are times, and he's seen them where I can't do it. I just be like, and usually it's when somebody got me messed up. Somebody gets me messed up. It's real hard. It's hard for me because I feel like you think that I'm stupid, and it's really hard. That's my thing. I don't like somebody to assume I'm stupid and think that you're smarter than me, and I'll be like, ooh, it gets me. So I understand you, Shannon. I too have been, somebody has had me effed up many times. In fact, thinking of a certain time, Mo had a friend that had me messed up. She had me totally confused. She had me twisted. All right, here we go. I thought Ed and Shannon should have explored the possibility.
They were rushing Ed. Ed, I think it would have got there. They were rushing that brother. It was case. That's all.
Let me ask you this. We've watched Lauren's show.
Right. I've seen clips. I ain't never seen the whole show, but yes.
I want to ask you, what do you think about Lauren and Ed?
Do
you think that Lauren and Ed, do you think there's an attraction, a connection there? What do you think?
I mean, outside of chemistry, nah. I mean, because he's patient. Other than that, I don't see it on that show anyway. I just see him, they talk and, he breaks stuff down and explains it. He's very patient with her because she's kind of like real. He tries to get her to see other side. I just see chemistry. I don't see any love. Okay. I don't.
Okay. Are there anyone else that you feel like, because like when we went to do the podcast, we saw Christina, Cardi, Devon, and Ashante.
Ed, Steve, we saw a lot of people.
No, I'm talking about we went the next day.
Oh, the next day. Right.
And I felt like Devon liked Christina. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, I felt that.
But Christina was very, I know what, I do wish that she had been able to stay a little bit longer. Because I just think we would have had some great TV.
But she's a busybody. She has a lot. Like,
she's a lot going on. Yeah.
Bouncing them off the room, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying she's just.
And actually, she comes off way better in person.
She really, she's actually sweet. I mean, not that she's not sweet, but she's actually very sweet in person.
It's not sweet in here, right there. But I feel like I do appreciate this. Christina's going to stand. She's going to stand on what she's going to say what she want to say. She's confident to say what she wants to say, and she does not care what you think. And you got to respect it.
And she loves her daddy.
She loves her daddy. She wants a man that is going to provide. And I don't even think when Vince said, it's more about the actions, I don't think it's more about the actions. She wanted the money, and she was clear about that. And then Bello said, but you know what? This is another thing I should have known, that Bello was full of it. I've been slipping on my pimping because I should have known that he was full of it when he said he didn't have a problem with Christina wanting a lot because, he's with him, he actually has no problem rising to the occasion. You remember that?
What did he mean by rising to the occasion? I rise to the occasion. Never mind. It could have meant a whole bunch of things. That's not the point.
But I'm just saying he gave an answer that was too good to be true.
That's the catch.
Damn it.
But dressed up
And I think the accent also makes him sound very
yes,
cultured and
some English fellows, not that he's English, but they get away with, when you have an accent, you get away with way more stuff.
they do. I'm gonna tell you guys this. I was at Essence Festival once. I was at actually, yeah, we were at Essence, but before we got to Essence, Chili was doing something with Coca-Cola, right? And so I wish I had the picture. I'll bring it Friday. Chili was doing something with Coca-Cola. So they had a dinner. They had a dinner for the celebrities that they were doing campaigns with. So we walk into the room, and it's a table of probably like 10 people. And Idris Elba was one of those people. Well, I was shocked, and I was taken aback, right? So we sit down, and, you know, I'm the type of person that I'm very shy. First of all, I was not married, so y'all don't be going telegun boss. Don't do none of that. But I'm very shy, so if there's somebody that I'm like, I really couldn't say anything. And I don't remember how I ended up sitting right next to him. I know I did not want to, because if you're eating dinner and you're sitting next to somebody, you can't relax. I could not relax. I am very shy around guys I like. I am not shy around guys I don't like, which actually works it does not work in my favor, because when I talk to them a lot, they be thinking I like them and I don't. But anyway, I'm seated next to Idris Elba, and I have a picture of this because one of my friends that was there took a picture because it was so funny to him. I was just sitting there like this. I was afraid to breathe.
What did y'all have to eat?
Huh?
What did y'all have to eat?
I don't even remember.
That's how I know the story. You really
like.
What?
You know what? Forget you. I'm not gonna tax you with that. But I could not. I was so nervous, and so we're at dinner, and Idris, as we all know, has this accent, and he's actually really cool and personable. I ended up talking to his manager. He's talking to Chili. His manager was actually very cute too. It was just a great day. So he was like, "Where are you guys going afterwards?" And so we ended up deciding we were going to go hang out with them because he was DJing a party. Now, I am Chili. He's not really Chili's type. So she was like, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Let's go. She was like, all right, we'll go." So I do a Beauty and Brains. He looks exactly like he looks in the movies, and he actually is really cool, which makes you even more. I'm not. Wait a minute. First of all, Healing Waters. No. I am not comparing Bello to Idris. I'm not. I'm going somewhere with this. And the only thing that I am talking about that connects the two of them is the accent. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. No. It is the accent. I'm just saying how the accent can throw us off, right? So he's talking. All I hear is like music playing. I don't bring it because y'all got to see the picture. I am literally like this. And I'm also a lot younger. This was years ago. This was like I'm landing the plane. Point is, we go to the club. He's DJing. I'm thinking that he's going to give us this cool Afro beats type vibe. No. This British speaking Negro is a whole ninja. He is out of control. Every ghetto song, he is singing in his English accent. He is making crass comments that do not match the accent. It did not match the picture that was in my head with his accent. And I understand that Bello has a Canadian. I'm just saying those accents women are usually attracted to. What I did understand is this man, I thought he was, no. If you have any idea of what a real ninja is, please know that it was Idris Elba. It was too much for us. I was totally taken aback. And the fact that he was dating K. Michelle makes perfect sense because I also had been around her, and I thought that you would think that would not make sense. However, it does make sense if you were around Idris Elba. It was not It was not what I expected. I don't even know how to say what I want to say and be respectful, because I've worked with him since then. He's very nice, but I'm just saying he definitely is not what I thought he was.
He's got a penis. Look at
It's a little bit more than that.
The Aaron Pierre dude and the other. They, listen, I don't care where you're from. We all thinking it. We might not be.
And he's right. Mo is right, because
we all think.
Because not only did he have the accent, but this is like an A-list dude, and we are at a club. That's another thing. We wanted to go to the club with all the other celebrities. He did not want to. He wanted to go to the club in the ghetto of New Orleans, and it did not match up. In my dreams, I would be attracted to him. In real life, not so much. But still a beautiful man and very nice, very kind, but a whole different animal in the club on the ones and twos. Anyway, I was like, damn, that's not what I expected. He did not play house music. He did not play house music at all. Any booty song, booty shaking song, anything that caused women to get on the floor and twerk, he played. That's what he played. Not play house music. It was not this cultured not eclectic. No, it was booty shaking music, and he was encouraging interactions. I'll just leave it at that. We left. But yeah, the accent and a person that speaks with cultural intelligence and intellect. Do not be fooled, ladies. I learned after that. I was like, you know what? I think I would just rather have the guy that is who he is from the jump. Don't wrap it in a culture. Just show me the Negro like he is, so I can decide if I want to deal with it. Them dudes like Common and who else? The intellectual dudes you be thinking are so, they be on the same stuff. I did prejudge him. And I was wrong, but I'm just saying sometimes we think that the crassness, right? You listen to, I remember interviewing the Yin Yang Twins, right? I didn't want to interview the Yin Yang Twins, but I remember sitting with Collie Park and the Yin Yang Twins, and the same exact energy that the Yin Yang Twins had in the club is the same energy that Idris Elba had. Different packages, different height. Same goal for the end of the night.
That's how it go. And that's been the reason why he didn't tell her he was enjoying her physically. And a lot of times women got to tell us to stop, because we ain't going to stop.
You're not going to stop. They're not going to close no doors.
We're not going to stop if that's happening, even though other things, we might slow down, but we're not going to stop.
They could be cultured and hood. I get that. I think we all kind of like a little bit of edge. What I'm telling y'all is that it was all edge. I can't really go. It was not, no, it was all edge. We were taken aback. I had a crush on 50 Cent. I liked the edge. This was too much. This was too much. It was too much edge. Lauren, you missed everything. We just talked about Bello. I said I owe Darius an apology because we have been focusing on Darius when all along we should have been focusing on Bello's smooth culture talking behind.
Lauren dodged the bullet.
Lauren dodged the bullet. That's why this is a perfect example of when people say man's rejection is God's protection. Don't be asking people to explain and get clarity. F the clarity. The clarity is in the actions. And you're right. And birds of a feather flock together. So when he told us that he was cool with Darius and Vince, the writing was on the wall.
But
you did, Mo. We gave you your flowers.
That's what I was referring to on the other side. When we was like, I was like, he's not the only one. And he like man, listen, go ahead.
Closure is overrated. I agree, Tim. And that's what I got from this situation. Even before we saw this part of the reunion, don't never ask. I don't care, and I get it, Lauren. We saw you talking to Ed, and like I would just say no. You don't need clarity. You don't need closure. Okay, y'all were right. Okay, hey, you there? You were definitely on point. And I also said this. I definitely thought Lauren should stop asking questions. I don't give a damn what he's saying. Like, what is he doing? And what is he doing on camera? Because if you're not going to do it on camera, that's the only way we know it's real, if you do it on camera in front of others. That's the only way. If you won't, then I got to move accordingly. We don't care. Lauren, don't do that. It doesn't matter if he says it with his chest. Look what happened for the person that he said it with his chest. Now she's sitting there, damn near trying to beat us. I'm out of control. I'm
but I'm saying this too. Like, he might have said some stuff on camera and they didn't keep it.
That's true too.
Because
they were trying to, but what we do know is that he didn't tell the truth to her. What? So there was some lies being told.
Tell the truth to nobody.
He did not tell the truth to nobody. And we figured out that I think he spoke to each girl, just like you always say, like, be careful what you share with a guy, because he will transform himself into that. And when I looked at the date with him and Lauren, he matched her energy. When he was with Dominique, he matched her energy. Him saying that he wanted to go paint was matching Ashanti's energy, and I felt like I smelled some BS there. I think he's whatever he has to be in the room.
Unfortunately, that's a lot. Not every guy, but that's a lot of guys. Some guys are afraid to be opposite, like to say they don't even like something. I've seen dudes allergic to food saying they like that food. Like,
well, when he said in front of Ashanti's friend, we all know, we're all familiar with Muslim, with Muslim religion to an extent, right? But you say that that you can be a practicing Muslim and not want your wife to convert.
You might as well eat a pork.
I don't know. What if she fried up some pork?
You might as well.
It's just hypocritical vibes from the jump. And then also let us know, of course he would say that because he had no intention of making anybody his wife on the show. He was there to promote his Raped, his community project, which I would tell anyone to please be careful of people. It's unfortunate because you want to believe in, I don't like when we use us against us. I don't like that. So when you tell people of color, we need to come together and, have our own and build our own, those always be the ones scamming.
Know who else peaked it too, though?
Who?
Her father. What's the name's
Dominique's dad?
No, the other. Remember, she met and he told her what his plans were. Remember him and Dominique? What was the Darius met her too. Remember
the friends?
No, when they met the mother and the stepfather. What was the girl? Was that's not
Ashley? No, I don't know.
No, remember Bello and Darius met, and you asked him what did Darius say he did? Yeah.
It was Ashanti.
Right. So Ashanti's stepfather.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He caught it too because Bello said they was like, well, what are your plans? So he told him what he was planning to build. He didn't say nothing about planning nothing with her. He said about her. He told him what he was doing.
Yeah.
And the stepfather said, pardon me, I don't know the brother's name. He said, sounds like a car salesman.
You salesman, yeah. He picked it up. So what do we learn, ladies? We need to listen to men when it comes to men. And that's why Mo is here with us to give us some guidance. And at this point, I just feel like I'm surprised that they let us see that. I'm surprised that was the clip that they put out. Lennox and Parker, we worked to get that clip as an exclusive. And of course, y'all know. And I will tell you guys, I have an article coming in the morning about Bello.
I bet you do.
Oh, yes, I do. Because I had wrote one before about the fact, and this one's even going to be better because what have we learned, ladies? The package is not what we need to focus on. Bello had an inhaler, and somebody was like, trying to pace himself from all the lies. It was hilarious. But yeah, I have a article coming less for him and more for the fact that a lot of times we get caught up in the external, right? And the external often leads us down a wrong path, ladies. Character and integrity is the most important.
And not to even be heavy on the ladies, we do it too. We do.
Y'all just be you trust a big butt and a smile, and usually somebody that does not have the best interest for you, they're going to have a big butt and a smile. Now that butt may be augmented, but they know that that's what attracts the men. And I think women, we have to not get caught up. I remember when I first started dating after I was divorced, I like muscles, and I would just be, I had Mo knows I was dating all these former athletes and personal trainers, and I was going down the road of destruction. And when they lied, and when guys would lie, I would always, if he said, when they say the right things, the one that I got caught up with, that was the biggest lie, I ended up finding out that he was married. He was the sweetest. I lived in Fayetteville. He lived in Atlantic Station. Every time he wanted to, he always wanted to see me. He always planned dates. He wanted to take me to out of town. He would send me, if we agreed to meet downtown, because I didn't want him to come to my house and meet my kids, he would send me $60, $70. I don't want you to get on the road without putting gas in your car. All that had me all wrapped up in the head. And then I started paying attention to the real stuff, and he ended up, I know personal trainers are hoes, but it took me a while to learn the learning curve, because they also just look amazing. But if it's too good to be true, it's probably not good. Probably just have to have a little bit of a dad bod. I don't know. I'm just smiling right now. Personal trainers, anybody that was a former pro athlete, it's just not good. It's not good. It's not. But then guess what? Hey, you there? This is what's evil about the dating pool. You will say to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to go for the man that has a six-pack and looks like he can move the furniture. I'm going to go for this man who looks, he looks okay. He may not have that much money, but at the end of the day, they are all doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. So you just have to watch for the actions and the words to align. Because it's even worse if you end up getting played by somebody that is, less than.
What did you say? Rather cry in the Bentley than do what? Future's
evil riddle. You want to cry in a Bentley or you want to cry in a Corolla, you're going to cry either way. And I do think that you're going to cry, but I think you cry less. Find the man that you can cry less. You got to cry. You got to find the man. So you would have dated the men on the show that Tyson Beckford was on? No, because they were all on the same thing. Y'all, I told you I found out Thaddeus was on it, just all on the same thing. You got to find the one, you got to find the one that likes you more than the others. And that's the thing though. You can't try to I'm not going to give him sex, I'm going to tell him this. That the only thing that works is just being yourself and paying attention and not falling for a lot of words. I'm trying to think. Lauren says she's going to go back to her type. I feel like my lesson, because I was dating those kind, and Mo and them were laughing at me. We would go in the club or something out, and he'd be like, I know exactly which one Christal likes. And I was really stuck on that type. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to go after my type. Maybe I should switch up. And then I started dating people that I wasn't attracted to. And then it was horrible. I couldn't kiss them. I didn't want to. And then some of them had the nerve to be on the same stuff. So when I stopped and I just focused on Christal, and I was honest about what I wanted, and I made sure that I wanted the things that were really important and substantial, then the heavens blessed me with the 6'3" man that I wanted. But I had to take a step back and stop focusing on it. But then I ended up getting what I want. I think the lesson was I was focused on the wrong things. I'm being honest. But then the heavens, the fine Negro heaven opened up, and God sent me one. But it's only after I backed up.
That's what they say. That's why I'm back. That's why I backed up already.
I back up. I'm telling you, because I started thinking. I remember we went to a matchmaker. Me and Chili went to a matchmaker before the show, and that's what I'm saying. See, my mom told me that you never. She said always go for what you want, because a man is going to do the same thing. And you get played by Shrek, now you got to check yourself. Now I'm like, what the hell am I doing? The fine Negro heaven is there. Do you notice Tyson Beckford never came to the forefront for Diddy? Although, well, no, he actually spoke against Diddy. He did. He spoke out. He don't really mess with Diddy like that. And he got an experience, but he talks about it on the Breakfast Club. Look that up. Yeah, he did. And the one thing is, Tyson Beckford, he's a model, and he fine. I don't think a lot of him, because I work with him. I told you guys about that, but he's a real Negro. He's a Negro though, because he's not like one of the pretty boys that won't fight, which I respect. But yeah, you don't want to lower your standards physically, but what you do want to do, you are going to run into problems if you say the first thing on your list that you want is a man with money. You do that, you're going to get the wrong one every time. I can tell you guys that. Because when I went there, I was like, he got to be 6'3", he got to this, and this. And then it was just horrible. It was guys that had some of those things, but they didn't really have my best interest at heart. And then I started dating the ugly ones, and they was doing the same thing. And I was really pissed. You remember that one that I liked because of his mind?
That just sounds crazy. But
it was bad. I was trying.
Right, man. Hey, man. To all the people out there, man. Let love. If it's meant to be, it's gonna be. In the meantime, man, enjoy yourself.
But you gotta put the real shit in the front, though. Don't put the fake stuff in the front.
1000%.
Because I think a lot of times most women I know, when they get hurt, they start putting, he gotta have this, he gotta have that. You want to put him through a whole bunch of tests. A real good dude is not gonna do all that. They're gonna let you go with your hurt self off to, and then what happens, and we have a lot of sisters, we ain't gonna name no names, but once you've been in the dating pool for a while, guys start to be like, yeah, we've seen her before. She swam by here before. You don't want to do that. So just figure out what you really need in life. Figure out what's important to you. And if what's important to you is the money, then don't be upset when you get the money, but not much else. I didn't want to live like that, because I know a lot of people that have a lot of money that are that if you look at all these celebrities that have so much, they still break up, they still go through divorces. Money is not the answer to happiness. I don't even think you got to get out of your city. I don't believe that, Lauren. I think you gotta really, as a woman, get to know who you are. And that probably sounds like BS, but you really do. You don't have to get out of your city, because I remember when I coach women on that, like, what is for you is for you. So
But do you think sometimes it's not you meeting people, but you just being around different energy, it even changes yourself?
It's you. You is the problem.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but
it's not getting out of your city, because you're gonna take your same messed up mind out of a city. It's you. And because you guys know, like, everybody told me the beginning of Kevin Samuels, you know, at my age, with 2 children, being divorced, you're never going to get a guy. You're not, man, please. I actually got one that's fine as hell, pays all the bills, but most important, that's not the important thing. The important thing is he has great character. So, and people are like, you're not going to find anybody in Atlanta. Atlanta is a horrible place to find, but I just knew, like, I know when I came here, and every place is a small city. We all know each other too. Mo knows that Atlanta is small. Every place is small. It's not the place. But if you think that it's other things, you still got some more learning to do. Because I did. That's why I went on Iyanla, because I thought, Atlanta, it's got pee in the dating pool. I was saying all that stupid stuff. And when I sat down with her, because I listened, because I'm not the type of chick that's going to automatically push back. I'm a listen. If I hear especially from a woman I respect, I'm gonna shut up and listen. And I feel like a lot of women don't know how to do that.
Hey,
like,
what did she, when we was in Detroit, that told me at the bookstore, what did she say?
She said Mo is fine. You do it. She said you were doing the right thing. She said not to rush and find. And she was what, 88?
Something like that. Yeah.
And that wisdom. I don't. That's one thing I would tell y'all, like, get around some older women and shut up. When Iyanla was talking to me, you said all them other girls went on Iyanla, you be talking about, I sat down, I was crying, I was like, let me shut up. And when I left, within 9 months, I met the love of my life. Now I ain't gonna say that he ain't, he's perfect, because he's not. But she didn't fix my life. She helped me see myself. I was around here thinking that the dudes was all intimidated because I was this, entertainment publicist. Some of them were, but they were the wrong ones.
That part.
And she does treat people different. Hey, you there? But guess what? She had something I needed to know. She had something that I can learn from. So if I can learn from somebody, I don't have to agree with everything you say to learn. Mo has taught me a lot. All my guy friends, I'll push back, but they know I also will listen. And a lot of us don't listen. If you got guy friends in your life that are not sleeping with you and they tell you something, shut up and listen. Because we will tell a man he don't know what he knows about other men. And that's ridiculous. Just saying. So I don't know what we're about to see on Friday.
It's going to be good, though. I
have a sneaky suspicion that most of the men on this show were full of it, as we knew. I think I might have been led astray because there were a lot of tall ones. We really be falling for the hype. I was like, look at all these tall men. Vince.
Thing that I sent you about the club in Connecticut, there's only
Yes, I talked about that on the podcast. There's a club, it's in actual London. It's in New London, but it's in London, where they are only allowing men that are 6 feet in the club, which I think is fair, because I know places here that there are entertainment industry parties where you have to submit a picture of yourself before you can get an invitation. And I've worked those parties, and that's ridiculous. And then what happens is you get a whole lot of beautiful women with men that look like crap but have a lot of money. And the women are usually fine. But then you know what? I'm going to say this because it's late and I think I'm hot and I'm probably just talking too much. If you don't have children, you may want to be careful about getting with an ugly man that has money.
If you don't, say it one more time.
If you want children.
Oh, if you want children, okay.
If you're going to have children and you get with an ugly man that has money, just know that your daughter may have his face and his body. So if you're okay with that, cool.
I have his back too.
I say his body because I've seen some girls. I know some girls. I will not say their name. They go after the athletes. They go. He got this. And a lot of times that defensive line. I know one whose daughter looks like she's on the defensive line, but you got to look at the whole picture. That's wisdom, ladies. When you're young, you don't think about that. You just think you want to be in the, have this and have that. That money comes with a price. The money comes with a price. Everything comes with a price.
That's a fact, Jack.
And I ain't gonna get nothing for free, but really you just got to fix yourself. Fix yourself and the right man. You keep on having the same things, trust me, it's you. I don't even need to talk to you to know that. It's you. It's because like attracts like. When you get in the right space and you're moving, in the right place, then what it will come to you. But if you're doing too much of this, I did it for a long time. I'm very stubborn. I was single for a long time. And as soon as I realized, Christal, chill, stop, and redirected, the right man showed up. And God blessed me because he was still 6'3". I really feel like I got lucky with that one. I really do. I was like, thank you, Lord. Because you want to be attracted to your mate. And you also want him to be able to take care of you in the way that you want to be taken care of. But that's not the most important thing, because marriage really isn't about showing off somebody like they're a car or something like that.
Okay.
It's not about that. I know dudes that like to get the woman because they get all the attention, but that's not really what marriage is about. Marriage is about when that person's in the house and there's nobody else to give you props because of her, do you still like her? Do you enjoy being with her? Because I know a lot of dudes that got a real pretty trophy, they can't stand her attitude.
Hey, that's why they say that thing about sevens.
Well, I don't know about that. You're right. And I sound blessed. God bless. Because I'm talking about it here, but I really am. I really do give God the glory, and I really need to do a lot of work on myself. I wouldn't sit here and say that to other women if I hadn't went through it myself. I went through heartbreak. I went through a lot, but I also did really want to be you don't want to be the type of woman that a man doesn't respect and doesn't want to be with. You want to be the type of woman that makes him a better man, right? So that he can make you better. Like, I didn't want that. So I wrote that book after I went through that, because when I did go, I did think it was the man. I didn't think it was me. I thought I was showing up, doing everything. Because women, what most women do, we just focus on our outside appearance. I'm working on me. That means I'm in the gym. That is not how you work on you. We think that pretty does everything, but yet everybody that's beautiful gets cheated on, gets left, gets dogged out, the same thing. So it's not pretty.
And it's free, y'all.
It is. But it takes humbling yourself. And most women are taught, be pretty as you can, and they make fun of the other woman. There is a woman that, I hosted this event for this woman. You know who I'm talking about because you came a couple times. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And she said to somebody, why did Christal's husband is fine. Why is he with Christal? Because she is fair skinned and I don't know what she thinks. But she thought that because she feels like she's pretty and everybody should think they are. But she was like, why is he with Christal? And I'm like, see, that's why she's single. That's why she's going to stay single, because you don't get it. First of all, you don't know what that man sees. Second of all, you got a nasty attitude.
That part.
And third of all, ain't nothing wrong with brown skin. We've been it. It's just the right Negroes to see it. I ain't check her because guess what? I did not check her. She didn't say it to me, but her life is checking her. Her life is checking her.
What happened?
Trust that.
Nothing.
Her life is checking her. I don't even have to do it. Years keep going by, and she.
How do people getting checked right now? I ain't gonna name the celebrity names, but y'all know them ladies out there.
Because women are taught, it's not our fault. We are taught that all you have to do to get a man is be pretty.
Look at Lunel.
That is some bullshit.
Yeah, I definitely don't believe
that. That is some bullshit. And I'll be sure. I don't like dudes like that be playing like that. I don't like it.
That is hilarious. Please don't fall for that. Y'all know that.
I'm not falling for that. I don't like when Shamar Moore would come. He always be hugging on some chubby chick that he would never date. I don't like that. They're not dating. They play in the crowd. I don't like it.
Oh gosh.
At her expense. But in any case, she came for me. She did come for me, but guess what? I don't even have to come for her because her life is coming.
That part. You don't have to do nothing. I'm telling you.
Nope. I don't care what other women think about me. It didn't. No. It didn't bother me. I was just, in fact, the fact that it doesn't bother me is why I shared it. Because I just try to be honest on here and tell you guys, like, if I make a mistake, I had a pimple on my, I don't care. Because when you get to a certain age, you just kind of know, like, who you are is who you are. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else. But I'm also honest with you guys because I feel like you can't trust me to be real if I don't be real.
That part.
But she got more money than I do. She got all the money and she done paid dues. She done did all this stuff, but she has a problem because she's been taught that men like a certain hue of women over the rest of us. But I learned to appreciate being brown a long time ago. So I don't have a problem with that, but that's her problem. And she's going to stay stuck on it until she figures it out. But you know what? It does, but I think I get it, Lauren, and I don't like it. As a brown woman that came from a very fair-skinned mother, I got compared to my mom, and then I had a daughter that is extremely fair-skinned. So I experience it, I see it, but it's just men manage to pit us against each other. That's just men pitting us against each other.
Do men
told her wrong?
I don't know.
Somebody had told her wrong. And the funny thing is, my husband always dates brown-skinned women. I was like, well, I said she should try to holler at him if she think that. If you can get him, you can have him.
Holler.
And on that note, dropping the mic.
Oh.
Mike, you can get him, you can have him. So we will come back and gather together as a family on Friday.
Gonna be good.
Lauren, we are saying for you, you are the poster child for sometimes, you know, to get to be, you know, to, I don't want to say rejection because it wasn't necessarily rejection, but that sometimes what's not for you, just leave it alone. Don't try to force it. Don't try to make it fit. Let it be. Let it be. Because when you look at it later, like, I don't even know I was wasting my time.
And Lauren is Gucci. She got probably all these men in her DMs and all this stuff now. 6'3" and taller. How she like it? You know?
Yeah, but just you know what? Just make sure to Lauren and to all the other beautiful women, because I think the show, we do know Lauren. Lauren, we've been here longer than you. We already know. You don't have to tell us if we already know. We already know. We know how this goes.
It was for her anyway. So I mean,
yeah, what's for you can't be taken. And what's for you will only show up when you do the work on yourself. So it's not about, you know, it's not about the height. It's just about, a lot of times you just, you know, you could just listen to how the person carries himself. Last thing before I go, I remember I went to this event, this 100 Black Men of Atlanta event, right? This was when I was getting off of always being attracted to the muscles and stuff, right? I went to this event and this lady her husband was being honored and he had passed on. And, you know, they were in their late 60s. He had just passed. And they stood up and they were talking about him. They asked her to accept an award on his behalf. And I listened to what the people talking about him said, what he did for his community, what he did for other men that had so much respect for him. And when she got up, everybody gave gave her a standing ovation. And she talked about her husband and with tears in her eyes. And she didn't say anything about how tall he was. She didn't say anything about how that he drove a Bentley or that he put her in a, you know, she lived a soft life. She didn't say anything like that. What she talked about was the fact that she was so proud to be with him because of the man that he was. And I remember sitting in the audience and thinking, I want a man that I can respect enough to be proud to be his woman. Like, that was powerful. Seeing how she spoke about him when he was no longer here. And I remember thinking, that is what I want, because I know I have a slick mouth. And if I don't respect him, it's going to be hard for me to shut up. It's still hard. But I just want to be with a man that has a type of integrity that I can respect and that I can say I'm proud. And that takes a lot for a woman to say, I'm proud to be his. And I think young women miss that. I want him to have this, and that is not what people remember.
When they get a little bit of life under their belt and under their feet, you know, I think eventually it comes.
Well, maybe not, Mo, because a lot of those women are older and still haven't learned. When you in the fishbowl and you done been around like 8 times and you still ain't figured it out, it doesn't always come with age. We got a lot of friends our age that still ain't figured it out.
It's true.
So you're not going to get you're not going to stop until you get it. And then you could even get more, put more miles on your kitty cat, and it's not worth it. All right, y'all, I'm getting out of here before I say way too much. Friday, we're going to have a good time.
Yes.
We're going to have a good time. And just know that this is just part 1. There are 2 parts of the reunion. And if they gave us Bello and Dominique in chaos for a sneak peek, and that means the entire thing is definitely going to be worth our while.
There you go.
We'll see you guys here Friday at 10 p.m. Please don't be late.
There you go.
Please have your pajamas and your drinks ready because we're going to get into it. All right. Y'all be good. We'll see you Friday.
All right, y'all.